Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mitchell Roulane, host, the podcast show for the average Joe, inspiration station, blue collar conversation. This is the Wrestling Diaries. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and a plethora of other platforms on audio streams that have podcasts. Leave us a review. It helps us show up in the algorithm. For the video content, go to YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content we release once a week. Also, the video is on Spotify. I implore you to check that out. We can just get people from everyday society to come on here and talk to us, and we find out about total strangers, and then we find out the deep, dark things and the monsters and demons that they wrestle with in life. Today, I have a special guest on by the name of David, the Titan slaying Cunningham.
Quite a kind introduction. I don't know if I slay any titans, but I'm flattered.
Hey, man, David. That's what your name represents. Slayer of giants, bro. So, I met you, David. I'll give a quick little discography on our relationship. I really don't know you. You're pretty much a perfect stranger. I met you at an Italian restaurant / bar called Little Italy. I think, or we might have met at the Nick.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. One of the two.
We met at Little Italy's, and we had a conversation or two at the Nick before, but
right. And then you showed interest in, obviously, everybody around that circle kind of knows that I do a podcast, and a handful of people that go to those little dives have been on the show. Anna Hope, Ham Bagby, Aaron, P.F. Gadsby. And then you just kind of like, or kind of fall in that circle, and then you were interested in being on the show, so you asked me to come on, and it took us a minute to get you on, obviously, but now you're here.
Oh yeah.
So what about my show in particular made you want to come on here, bro?
2 or 3 things. One, just I checked the show out and I thought it was cool and stuff. Secondly, something I've been trying to do more is be more open about a bunch of different things. Something that therapists and stuff has been like, you need to do that more, and it's something that I how do you put it? I'm not fantastic at all the time, I guess. That's a good way to put it. So it's not really an aversion to it. I just don't do it.
So, okay, and I'm assuming based on that comment that you've never kind of done anything like this before, an interview or some kind of podcast, radio show, yada, 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 minus like what your therapist and you do. Not that I'm a therapist, I'm just saying, like as far as sitting down and talking to somebody, like opening up, I mean.
Oh, yeah, I feel you. Pretty much, once my friend that I was hanging out with was going on a radio show around here, and I went in with him and barely talked at all. He was the one that was, but I was with him. But,
okay. What radio show was it?
I can't remember. It was some senator that used to be a senator here, I think. I don't even know.
Who cares?
Yeah, it was,
I'm kidding.
No, seriously, it was lame. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So how long have you been like going to those circles in like Little Italy and the Nick and all that stuff? Like, are you connected with anybody? Like, what's your, I guess, relationship with that scene? I can even call it that.
Well, probably about a year and a half, I think. I've been going to the bars downtown more and more. I have been a habitual going out to barfly type dude for a good while, but going to the bars more in Hoover a lot. And they'll be more overpriced and just not, it's too much. It's better downtown, I guess is a better way to put it. So, about a year and a half, and I just go hang out, not
listen to music and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody around there when I first started going there, but I know half the this.
Right, because you're everywhere. You're like the Where's Waldo of like bar scenes. Like if you look, it's like, oh, find David on this map. Oh, there he is. I found him.
I am a massive barfly.
Yeah, because like when you first came up and talked to me, I was like, I don't know you, but you look really, really familiar. Like I've seen you before. And you're like, oh yeah, well, I think I saw you at this place and that place. And I was like, oh, that's it then. Just everywhere, man. You're like the Birmingham bar mascot. Maybe that should have been your moniker instead of the Titan Killer.
Maybe so.
The Birmingham bar mascot, David Cunningham. So tell us a little bit about yourself, David. Like, where are you from? What do you do? What makes you tick, man?
I grew up I've lived in the Birmingham suburbs my whole life. I live in Hoover right now, right off Valleydale.
Okay.
And from here, never like I was saying, lived anywhere else. I for work stuff, 2.5 things really, kind of sort of 3, but at this point it's really just 2. I have a house and I Airbnb it out a lot because having roommates sucks, and also I don't want to and pay all the bills and the mortgage by damn self. It's much better to just be like, hey, yeah, you can. It's like having an honest version of a timeshare. Like it's very fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And other than that, the only thing I do that's truly structured is day trading. Like I was given I dropped out about halfway through my junior year just because I was like, I don't need to do this anymore. Because I was like, but day trading though, yeah, I was an economics major and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
a nerd for it in general. And it's the whole cliche: spend less than you make, save it, compound, da 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 da. And because like the mortgage stuff, the bills are pretty much taken care of by people like renting the place out. Makes it to where I don't really have to make all that much if I live like keep it.
So are you're still staying at your house that you Airbnb out, and then just have strangers like coming through that are staying there that are paying for like what? Because I've like read up on it a little bit, but I barely know enough to, I don't know, I guess get me down the road with it. But explain to me and to somebody else, like, how do you do, like, what's the deal with an Airbnb? I know what they are, but like, explain what it is and then how you go about doing it yourself, if you would, sir.
Yeah, Airbnb, the B&B thing technically stands for bed and breakfast, even though that's not what it is at all. But yeah, you just basically rent your place out like it's a hotel to somebody else for however long you all agree on, and it's super easy to start. It takes like 15 minutes. Just go on the app and click, and it is pretty easy. Basically, keep it clean and also look out for who you rent to. Also, I do not rent to anybody that does not either, 1, have reviews, and 2, have reviews that are like not bad. Because there have been times where I've seen like gone through people's reviews and they're like awful. And so yeah, but I've had no issues other than ass sometimes, like leaving. Only twice have I had that happen where they were just left a stupid, horrible review for no reason. One of them was ridiculous. It was like, it was so obvious. It was so much obvious nonsense. I was glad it was so ridiculous because like it was obviously bullshit. So I was like, I'm glad that they are bad at lying. Yes.
Wow. How long have you been doing that, man? Or did you already say that?
I've been doing it for over a little more than a year. I had roommates before and stuff, and because the housing market had gone up so much recently, I was actually exploring selling the place. And upon doing that, for a couple different reasons, I came across one of the Airbnb stuff. I was like, yeah, this is a way better idea as opposed to selling it. Like, just do that and, still sell it later if I wanted to, you know what I mean? And also, for a long period of time, if you're talking about 10, 20, 30 years, it's way more money than even just like flipping a house.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. And tell me about the day trading thing. What's that, like stock market stuff? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Like what, how long have you been doing that?
Oh, that a good while. Doing it as like a predominant job for income. Oh yeah. I didn't tell you earlier the other thing. The other thing that I still occasionally do, like I was saying, nowhere near as much right now because I don't really have to as much. It's not fun anyway. Is just landscaping, manual labor stuff. I did that most of 16 to 21, 22. And it's easy to find. It's basically like getting like $20 an hour to like get exercise.
Yeah.
But and if I do need to find some way to get extra money here and there, and sometimes like right now the market's fucking terrible. But
yeah, it is.
But yeah, what was the original question? The day trading stuff, like the
I was just asking you like how long you've been doing that, and what does that entail?
Probably since about like 21, 22 is when I first started actually getting kind of sort of into it. And
so not for too long.
No, yeah. Because I'll be 29 in August, so however many years it is. But basically, it's not too complicated to sit and see how things are moving. And for me particularly, there's about 30 or so companies that I keep up with kind of, and it's understand like how they move a lot of ways and makes it to where can flip it, make money decently quick. The huge thing is like turnover rate, like how fast you do it. It's like if there's a store, let's say there's 2 stores next to each other, and one of them makes a 10% profit on an item that they sell once a day, and then the other store has the exact same item, and they're selling at those where it's lower price and they make 5% profit or whatever. Then and they sell it 3 times a day, then they're making 50% more than the other person. So the speed of it is a huge thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's how Walmart gets their prices so.
Wow, that's so cool. So you basically, in a nutshell, like you just kind of work for yourself. Like you make your own money. You're essentially independent, like financially independent on yourself. Like you're not working like for a company or a job or for somebody else. Like you do day trading, Airbnb, and then you do your little landscaping thing on the side. That's pretty cool, dude. Like it's so funny, man. I never would have guessed anything about anybody. I don't know people but like that's crazy. It's like just hearing this, I didn't know you, and now like I'm finding out because I'm fascinated with that stuff. I'm fascinated with like personal independence and self-reliance and stuff like that. I love that stuff. I mean, that's essentially like what I'm doing. Like I'm pretty much self-reliant, and I contract myself through different channels to make money and all that stuff. And I've just kind of learned how to make a living off of hustling. It's harder. Like I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not easy, and you really got to be disciplined. And if you're lazy, you can be lazy like I can be. It's gonna be a hard knock life. But I mean, it's so much more rewarding, dude. Like you make your own hours. You're not listening to some face telling you what to do who doesn't know any better than you do, and yada yada. Everybody knows this story. I've told this numerous times on the show and just in general in life. So I implore a lot of people to look into it if they're miserable at their jobs. Obviously, some people like their 9-to-5s. I've met many people that are like, hey, I love my job, man. I'm blessed. I have the best job ever. My boss is great. My hours are good. Awesome. Well, hell yeah. Run with it. That's my whole point is just do whatever makes you, right? If that's good, if you thrive, then thrive. I don't give it like, I feel like per capita though, like you're going to find less like a less semblance of happiness in that more so than not like overall people, because it's not self-fulfilling because you're fulfilling somebody else's order. If that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. And the analogy I usually make is it's similar to being a person that's in like really good shape and stuff. Like it's like doing it just requires discipline and time. Like eat right and exercise and stuff.
Sure.
And like anybody can do it. It's just the difficult part is time, patience, discipline, and stuff. And yeah, it's just but I agree that also, again, like you're saying, rewarding in the end, I think.
And then also, I've met a lot of people that they are obsessed and they fantasize, they lust after that lifestyle, but they're too chicken to do it. They are. They're just too chicken shit.
No,
and I get it because I've been there. It's fearful. You quit your job. What are you going to do? You're going to sell stuff. You're going to like start a business. You're going to like what? What are you going to do? It's tough. And then if you don't, like you can't pay your bills. But when I look at the grand scale of things, you look at like the history of like the world and stuff. Like what's the word? Like you can't pay your bill. You're not going to die. I'm sure. Like unless you're somebody who's completely by yourself or whatever. But if you're like a general person in the middle of society, you're going to find food somewhere. There's so many like food kitchens and nonprofits and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're absolutely. Like in Africa where you literally are like walking through like streets with like, and like you could get killed, you get a disease, there's no food anywhere. You're walking through streets that are filled up with piss and like, you know what I mean? Like, people don't sit there and think about that stuff. It's like, but if I quit my job, like, what am I going to do? I'll lose my house. Then you lose your house. You lose it. That's it. That's all that happens. Nobody cuts your head off. Nobody smashes your hands. Nobody stretches you in half. Yeah,
it may suck, but you will not spontaneously combust.
I think it's like an evolutionary like bylaw written in our DNA to 100%. Like where it's like, back in the day, like our hunter-gatherer ancestors are like they're like, trying to hunt, and then they hear like rumbles in like the jungle, but they go anyways and they get ate by like a saber-toothed tiger or something. And and so like we evolved from that. So like anything that feels uncomfortable or uneasy, it's like a defense mechanism that keeps you away from that to keep you safe. Even though if what you're doing is just like quitting your job or moving or selling your car or something like that. Like it's not like you're going to fight to the death or going to hunt for like living or making a fire or jumping over a mountain or something. Yeah. And so I think we're just programmed that way. So it keeps us away from uncomfort.
I have quite a bit of nerdy interest, hobby type stuff that I like to read about or just learn about and stuff in general. One of them is evolutionary biology, and that is 1000%.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
1 second. I'm gonna continue, but I'm gonna grab.
Yeah, dude. Do you think?
I know, yeah.
So what are you drinking over here, man? Was this Miller Lite?
Yeah, Miller Lite. Yeah.
Is that your poison of choice?
Generally speaking, yeah, it's just a cheap light beer. You know.
Yeah.
That's
Do
usually
you
what I go
what's are you beer over liquor
for.
or wine? Like there's like the three: liquor, beer, wine. Everybody has a preference.
Cheap light beer simply because it's cheap, you know.
Right.
And also, my main like drink of choice is tequila, and the thing with that too though is
Mexican whiskey, huh?
But yes,
let's see what the alcohol content on this is. What are we saying? About 3%, 4%?
About 4.5 probably.
Okay.
Oh, nope, that's not it. I don't know. But yeah, a huge part of that too with sticking to the beer is that obviously it takes longer and stuff, and it's I get to drinking tequila and stuff, but quickly I get more drunk than I should be. So.
Do you get drunk often, David? I had to ask that.
Yes.
Yeah? Why do you do that? You're not an alcoholic, are you?
Yes, but I would put it in the manner like it doesn't function. I'm functioning, I suppose. Yeah,
High
it doesn't.
Yeah, me and Matt have a friend, Andrew. Shout out. Not a shout out, man. You need to stop drinking. You're killing your liver, you ass. But yeah, he's a high functioning. This guy is obsessed with Jaeger. He literally carries it around. Matt knows this because he was on the show and he's been here a couple times. He just has it like in a Mountain Dew bottle. It's just filled with Jaeger. There's no Mountain Dew. He doesn't mix it. It's just straight deer's blood. He swigs on it all damn day. But he still like talks normally. He's not like slurring his words. He's not like walking at a slant. He's high functioning.
Yeah.
And I'm just I would love to like be like a neurobiologist to do a scan on his brain or anybody like that. Maybe you. And just to see like what's going on there and the damage that's potentially been done or whatever.
Yeah, definitely an alcoholic, but it does not cause problems in my life except for maybe some health issues. I don't know. Technically, I'm currently don't have any health issues.
I mean, you're still really young and stuff, so your body's still, has gooder.
My
gooder.
My organs
has a better immunity. So
yeah, my organs can take a lot more punishment right now. Maybe once I'm like 50. I have to think a little bit.
What is your affinity for alcoholism or beer drinking or that kind of stuff? I guess like where does it stem from?
No, yeah.
Like I'm going to be your therapist right now.
I will
when
answer
did the bad dreams start, David?
So one of the things that I like and why it's kind of the thing that I do as opposed to some other quote unquote drug of choice or whatever. Partly because one, it's legal, that's nice. Two, it's kind of a social aspect. Go out and do it's more than a lot of times just gesturing. Like I'm out, as you know, out at bars all the damn time.
Yeah,
and that's just a fun thing to do. And also, physical effects are enjoyable. And I don't like. I used to smoke a ton of weed, but I don't enjoy doing it unless I have a really high tolerance to it because I get extremely paranoid and stuff.
You seem like a guy that would get stuck in your head. You seem like a thinker.
And I also have schizophrenia too. That doesn't.
Oh yeah. Then, holy God.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, part of it too is I think a funny analogy that I like, or analogy, just kind of smoking. When people smoke weed, a lot of times they will feel like they are making a fool of themselves when they are not at all, and people will get drunk and feel like they're not making a fool of themselves, but they absolutely 100%. Are. Yeah,
100%. And at least marijuana keeps you more honest.
I can feel.
Wow. So how long have you been drinking like that, bro?
Well, like I was saying before, I used to smoke a ton of weed and do all kinds of stupid and doing that like routinely.
What does that thing that pothead say? Why drink and drive when you can smoke and fly?
That is funny, but it's also...
You gotta slow down, man. You're going too fast. And he's going like 30 miles per hour.
Anyway. No, you're good. Pretty much though, routinely doing, smoking weed or whatever dumb drug or fucking drinking, like pretty much daily. 16, 17 probably, but actually being it where I'm just drinking pretty much. It that began during the virus shutdown stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it threw me out of a loop in a lot of ways, as it did a lot of people. You know what I mean? Before it pretty much replaced going to the gym in my life, and I've gained.
You used to go to the gym a lot?
Yeah, I was in really good shape. I've been every body type somebody could possibly imagine throughout their life, or throughout my life, excuse me. I ended up starting like being like, oh yeah, I need to just like go fucking all the damn time because I played like football and basketball and stuff in high school, and
I can see that. You're a big guy.
I am, yes. And when that ended, though, I didn't really change any of my habits, but other than the fact that I'm not like getting a of exercise all the time and I gained a shit ton of weight, and I got to the point where I was huge, and I was like, all right, I got to do something about this, and I actually ended up I lost 120 pounds in like 7-8 months, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's like a small person. That's like a girl.
True. Very true. Very
No
true.
offense, girls.
But yeah, and like I was saying, I was in really good shape, going to the gym a lot and all that stuff, and then shutdowns happened. I'm like, inside of time, and got to drinking a lot, and I've continued that. Unfortunately, I still do like a lot of push-ups and stuff around the house, and
That's good.
yeah, but it's hard to not have a bit of a gut when drinking. I don't know how many drinks a night.
Do you drink a lot of water?
Oh yes. Yeah,
okay, good. I was about to say, the amount of alcohol that you're consuming, if you can, as long as you're not as long, obviously you shouldn't, just for your own personal health benefits. But if you're drinking a lot of water, obviously it helps to kind of flush you out a little bit and stuff like that.
Yes, in the mornings is kind of when I drink insane amounts of water, and it kind of keeps me hydrated.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't like, you do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. I always tell people, do whatever makes you happy, whatever you feel like you need to do, even if it's destructive, as long as it doesn't impede on someone else's like well-being and in their circle.
Yeah.
Like if you drinking made you into a complete and utter ass, and I've seen you out before when you've had a couple drinks in you and you still seem like pretty nice or whatever, but if like that makes you like a complete off, then it becomes like a major league problem. But like our friend Andrew, who is a high functioning alcoholic, if he is drunk, he's just kind of a little bit more silly. That's literally about it. He's not like a butthole or whatever. Yeah. And so obviously I'm not a professional. So my only advice would be like, obviously it's not the best thing to drink nonstop like that. Agreed. Your liver eventually is going to like eat itself. But, in due time, I guess you find your own. Do you have any like good vices that maybe counterbalance the drinking?
Counterbalance the drinking? No, I don't think so. Good vices. I guess it depends on how you define vice. I guess because that's
vice. I guess is
kind of like a negative connotation.
Yeah, it is. It is a negative connotation.
But I see what you mean. I guess you mean more like a habit type thing.
Yeah, a good habit that counterbalances. That's what
counterbalance? No, I don't think so. But
you do push-ups sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Some kind of exercise.
And you drink a lot of water. Yeah. So
also another thing too is I'm huge into bowling, and
word. I love bowling. Not good at it, but it's so fun.
If you ever want to,
it's good. It's
I hear
fun.
that a million. I hear that all the time, and anytime, which is rare, when I go out bowling with someone, where I'm like, just please listen to me. In the afternoon, I'll get you averaging over 100. I swear to God, it's not hard to tell. Look at little things people are doing wrong.
You teach bowling?
I don't. I mean, not like. I will to people that I'm hanging out with. Usually, they won't listen though. It's slightly frustrating when they'll give in. If somebody just wants to have fun, I don't really care. It's like one thing, but which is usually how it goes. But a lot of times, people will like ask me like, yeah, give me tips, and they'll like try a thing or two, and they'll still up, and they'll be like, never mind, I want to go. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna take a second. Like you're not gonna just the first time, you know. Like,
well, people are very impatient.
Yeah, true.
Right.
True.
We live in a very impatient society.
But there are only a couple times where someone has actually stuck with it and stuff, where they do clearly, obviously, start to do proper things better. And it's like, no, look here, no, do your arm pendulum to the like, and then yes, though, I mean, but if you ever want to go bowling sometime, and improve within hour and a half for sure, you will, quote unquote, not suck anymore.
Nice. Where do you go bowl at?
Well, my bowling league I was in just ended about a month ago, and that was at Vestavia Bowl. But that's decently far from my place. Usually, the 280 Bowlaroo and what's it called? Oak Mountain Lanes is pretty close by my place.
That place is pretty sweet. I did Cosmic Bowling there.
Mhm.
Oak Mountain.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Oh, it's a great bowling alley. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, the original point of that was I was gonna say when I do go bowling, I refuse to sit down. To immediately just go if I'm like by myself at least, and will bowl for a long time. And so it is a bit decent. It's not like, like super exercise, but it's like similar to like maybe like like a hike or some bull. I mean,
Nice. Where'd you go to high school at, man? You said you played football and stuff like that.
I went to
Spain Park,
Vestavia and Shades Mountain.
Oh, okay. You played sports for both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome. And then did you go to college?
I did. Like I was saying,
not that I care whether you did. I'm just asking just for because I'm curious.
Hella judgmental about.
You didn't go to college, you piece of shit. Get this guy out of here, Matt. He didn't go to college. Oh man.
But yeah, I went to UAB.
Go Blazers.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, 2.5 years ago, saying I dropped out halfway through my junior year because like I was saying earlier, I was
you
like
were studying economics there as well.
Okay. And I was a good student. I did well. It's just I was like, this is actually kind of a waste of.
You just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I was like, I need to not do this and do the things that have led to where I'm at now.
That's another thing I was going to say, like in relation to the whole like work comment. A lot of kids and people, they go to college just because they feel like it's what's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, no,
like, I'm just going here because this is what I'm supposed to do. It's not what they want to. Like if you want to do, this is what they're supposed to do, right? Their teachers tell them, or their friends tell them, or their parents. And so sometimes, and I'm only saying this because I have a lot of friends that have done this. I'm not like trying to speak against college. Obviously, upper education is still great. You're still learning some stuff, and you get a better job, make better money, depending on what you're majoring in, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm giving like such a primitive outlook on it, but yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of friends that I've had that just wasted so much money and so much time, which is the most valuable currency that we as human beings possess. Is time. And they wasted all this time and majored in something they didn't give a crap about. And then now they still work at like Walmart or Home Depot or something. And they're like,
they'll take these loans that they don't understand how the interest works on and how that add up over time and stuff, and how difficult like these, like I've heard like of people like student loans, it's like 8-9% crazy that, which is like
insane.
Yes, it is. It is. Don't do that. If anyone's listening to this, don't do that. Like ever. Like,
never do that.
Yeah,
he did economics.
Unless
attention.
You're going into some like insanely lucrative field. Like if you're just going to a liberal arts college and don't plan on going to grad school or blah this, blah that. Don't do that.
So you have a lot of friends, man. A lot of like close people in your circle that you hang out with.
I have a lot of friends. I guess you'd have to define the degree of closeness. What do you mean by that? I would say kind of sort of yeah. There's a lot of people that I am good friends with, and I would say yeah. I was saying earlier, I didn't like half the city.
I read a quote once that said something like, "You can tell the level of strength in someone's merit and integrity based on the circle that they keep around them." So, like, if they're like really seems like a very strong, confident individual, then they usually have like really good support base of friends and family that are like really good and challenge them, and they're still nuanced. And then sometimes people that are like not like that, then they don't have like a good foundation or something like that. And then that also varies from people, because I've met people that are super strong and they've got nobody in their lives, and then I've met people that are just weak AF that have like a bunch of people that are like in their corner trying to motivate them, trying to get them to be better, trying to help them, So
yeah, I think
to me, friendship is really important. Like I feel like it's a defining thing for me. Like if I would not be the person that I am today if I didn't have like the people that were the closest to me.
Human beings are pack animals.
And I don't have like a lot of like really close friends, but the ones that I do have, like, yeah, they're, I'd go to war with them.
I feel you, dog. No, I feel you big time.
Like that's
yeah, I remember I heard a thing once kind of similar to what you're saying, where it's like what was it? Take your 5 closest friends, average out their personalities, that's who you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we kind of work like flesh magnets, but like you kind of attract people of like, I don't know, of similar quality or something, maybe not even of similar quality, but something that you're looking for, right? Like something that you're looking for in yourself that you don't have. You attract that, or it's attracted to you. And then it's like, it's so funny because like all of my like closest like childhood friends, we all have like, we're very different, but we also have this like deeper seated like connection on some weird level, and someone offers something to the other one that the other one doesn't have, and it's just this bartering of relationship. You know, me and Matt are like that. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just like running my mouth. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. Yeah, I agree with all those things.
Just some dumb kid with a podcast.
Worst thing that happens, it'll be a good day. First thing you do.
So what else you do for fun, man? Besides bar hopping and seeing music, you're big into music, right? Like you love seeing the bands and the local talents and stuff like that. What's your
absolutely? What's
your take on that? You play music, or?
I do. I'm not in a band or anything, but I've been playing. My first instrument I learned was bass when I was like 9. I got into it, and then around middle school, started playing guitar, and also learned drums. I'm not really that good at drums. I can play guitar and bass pretty well, but I play drums, but it's kind of the cliche thing, like a guitar player that plays drums. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then in high school, I actually got into and learned how to play hand drums decently well. I'm much better at hand drums than real drums.
Like percussions?
Yeah, just like the main one's a djembe that I play. I can play pretty much all of them other than tabas, because it's the whole thing where you like, how do you put it? Like bend the like the skin on the drum. So it's like it's just a completely different feel in a manner. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Never been in a band though.
Yeah, every time I've tried to get that going where we start like a cover band or some to like play around bars for like money, it's working with musicians hard. They tend to be very frustrating people that so anytime we've ever got that going, it always that's
why there's so many solo artists now. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, because it's just so hard to get like a cohesive unit of people, of multiple people that are all on the same page, that have the same amount of gumption to do what you're wanting to do as well. Like that's why usually some of those biggest, best bands were ones that were started by like family members or childhood friends, and they're all in school together hanging out, and then they started the band, and then they kept going. So they were already like that. But like once you're an adult, you know, it's real tough. It's super tough to get that going.
Yeah. Every time I've ever tried to get it, it's always crapped out because either a person or two, one has a bad drug problem or something, or two, they're just busy all the time, and it's like trying to do it as a side job and stuff. You know, it's it's demanding. You got to do this and the other. You know, it takes plenty of time, and people getting on the same schedule and everything. You know?
It's the commitment thing, man. Like, not everybody has that level of commitment. You just have to keep finding it, or keep searching through people to find it.
You got to be good at scheduling things too, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. My girl's, she's got her like band, but trying to get everybody together sometimes can be a little taxing, and because everybody has like different like paths they're going on. They're also adults and they have obligations, which is understandable. Like,
oh yeah, big time. Yeah,
it's just trying to find that perfect match. Sometimes can be a bit of a daunting task. I'm afraid, but hey, once you find it, hold on to it and try to make some magic.
But yeah, what was you ask? The question about music, bars. What was the what was the original question? I don't remember.
I think the original question was just like you're big into music. You go around. I was going to ask you, what kind of music do you lean towards? What's your genre of choice if you have one?
Yeah, genre, like for playing or listening or both.
Either or.
Oh yeah, for playing mostly funk blues type stuff. It's the most fun to play and kind of creative-ish, you know what I mean? And for listening though, it all depends, it's really just the artist, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty much
any artists particularly influence you for playing music and whatnot?
Oh, absolutely. Probably the main one is my favorite band for like pretty much whole life, Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're
sweet.
Yeah, dude, John Frusciante, the guitar player who just joined back in the band. Thank God.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he left twice and finally came back.
Their drummer looks just like Will Ferrell.
Yes. Oh, dude, he was.
In fact, I think they were on like a night show or something together once, dressed the same way.
He was hilarious. He was in the super group thing, Chicken Foot, for a little while, and they went on some kind of Tonight Show thing, and he was wearing a shirt that said, "I am not Will Ferrell." I was like, "That's awesome, man."
That is super awesome. And then Flea, man, he does so much stuff in like entertainment. I see him in so many different movies and TV shows. I was watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus, and he was just like a villain in there. Just a random like villain working for the Empire. And I was just like, is that freaking Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers? This guy's always just plays these just obscure roles in like movies and TV shows.
Back to the Future,
he was one of the bullies, one of Marty's bullies that they raced with at the end or whatever.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He's a badass bass player though, man.
Yes,
and he looks good in a sock.
Yeah, I love the way. Man, oh man,
it's great in a sock.
But yeah, I love the way Flea plays bass to where he plays it in a manner that it's kind of like a lead guitarist, but also he's still playing it in a manner that's like very much a bass. It's not like he's like a guitar player like playing the bass, and but it's like I'm saying, it's still a bass, but also like, and it's not in like a as much of a rhythm section type thing.
It would make sense though too, because like they were kind of like funk-esque, especially originally. So obviously funk music has a lot of, it's kind of bass heavy.
Yeah, they were down near like the Beastie Boys when they first started out. Like, their first like 4 or 5 albums. But yeah, they're obviously way different now. And their older stuff too is still and they still do some stuff like that on some of their albums, just the random little album songs. But yes, yeah, definitely on the thing of influence. And their guitar player John Frusciante is definitely my favorite guitar player, and he's but yeah, for guitar stuff, yeah, like John Frusciante, Stevie Ray Vaughan,
nice.
Jimi Hendrix, that type of playing, you know.
The godfathers of guitar, electric guitar.
Yeah, and Frusciante is kind of in that similar mold, and but that playing style, you know what I mean, where it's you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
And, but yeah, for favorite types of music though, different artists and stuff. Huge Kanye West fan. Huge Kanye West.
Oh yeah,
much is crazy. You know, it always gets me when people will be like, "Oh yeah, he's crazy as and the other," and it's like a way to like, but they're like using a manner where they like dislike his music and stuff. It's like that's like almost like part of the allure to his like, it's like his thing,
his
in
gimmick,
a way. He's
right?
Nuts. Yeah,
whether he's a gimmick or not, it doesn't matter. It's just it's what makes him stand out.
And it's funny too, like
Jim Carrey always being silly and making weird faces and all this crap.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it'd be
even
like
as a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing is he's. It's like
but it's his shtick.
And also for his, it's weird too because it's much crazy. Because a lot of times he says stuff it's like really smart and makes sense. Like obviously he's an intelligent dude. I mean, like he's like, you know, one of the most popular artists ever. And like I think he deals with, I think I listened to him on a podcast and then an interview or something some years ago, but he also deals with like mental health issues. Like he has like health problems. Oh, big time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's that has to be factored in. Like he's not just like some face.
And can you also imagine being
crazy
that
person,
like
but
that on top of that on top of being that famous too, like health. Like,
I know because
you know
we like you just people want it and stuff, but they don't really nobody sits back and meditates on like what it would be. Yeah, you could be like, oh, it's living a dream and it's great and all this stuff. I like attention just like the next person, but like that kind of attention. I don't think like the human person was built to be like put on a pedestal like that.
Hell no, yeah.
Because it's so much for your psyche. It's so much weight for your psyche to have to deal with. And it doesn't matter like how many people love you and stuff. It's just it's such an undertaking. And there's also a huge responsibility that you have for this public that adores you, for you to like, you know, like I don't know, do right or just you know,
like for instance, fantastic example, Kanye. Like there's 4 or 5 instances in his life that people will sit there and like not shut up about him and call him like an complete ass to take this, that, and the other. It's like, yeah, he lives under dude. If you had that much attention on you all the time, yeah, there's gonna be times 4 or 5 instances where you like. I'm sure anybody could think of throughout their life, or like, yeah, I'm glad I'm living under a microscope on camera all the damn time because
it's the same thing with Justin Bieber, right? He got a bad rap, and I don't care for Justin Bieber on all that, but I don't hate his guts like a lot of people do, and you know, he's acting like a and he's done some crazy stuff and very disrespectful things and stuff, but also like. This guy it's been playing, he became like internationally famous as like what, a 12, 13-year-old or something like that. And that's a lot for a developing human to deal. And then he grew up in that.
Yeah. Right? And also, the amount of really stupid, insane that I did when I was like 16, 17, 18. I can't imagine injecting millions of dollars into that.
Right.
Also,
so like
yeah.
you already take that crazy angstiness from your youth and then you apply it with like a major amount of money and resources.
Yeah.
And attention.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I guarantee you if it was me, man, oh my God. 'Cause I was insane as a teenager. And so my God, like people would be writing all kinds of articles about how I was a piece of crap.
Yeah, I got banned from a city in Florida when I was like 17, 18.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Banned from a city.
A ban for life, yeah.
He's got me beat, man. I just got banned from the mall. That was it.
Fair, yeah. But yeah, I was really, really drunk, and I was walking down the street with my buddy, and I saw an empty cop car. And
he doesn't even tell the rest of the story. It's already funny.
Yeah. So my dumb ass thought it would be funny if I walked up to it and sort of like punching it and kicking it and stuff. And it turned out I was just really drunk. It wasn't empty at all. There was a cop sitting in the front seat.
I love
and
this.
Then they were all
crying over here.
And then they were all like, "Look, dude, around this time of year, we deal with so many dumb like you. You have two options. One, we can take you in and charge you. You will be found guilty, and you'll have to come back from that, this and the other. Or you can sign this piece of paper that says you agree that you are permanently banned for life. You can never, ever, ever come back."
Oh my God!
I was like, I'm definitely taking that.
Dude, what city is it? Can you say?
Yeah. It was Seaside. We were staying out nearby.
Shout out Seaside.
It was luckily that
got one of your boys here.
Yeah, my senior year of high school, a lot of people started just calling me Seaside.
Oh man!
But yeah, what's it called? I got I was lucky though, because on that trip, that was the first couple of days, but we were not staying in Seaside. We had just gone by to like hang out there. So luckily, I didn't have to like go home on the trip. Like, you know what I mean? But I have not been back.
Hey man, it's gonna be funny, man. I'll be coming there, kick and punch and spit on the stupid cop car. Pigs. He comes up and the cop's just sitting there. He's just sitting there watching this kid do this. Like I'm playing it in my head, and I don't know if it's as funny as it happened in real life, but in my head, it was pretty funny. Awesome.
It was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, I was really up, and I don't remember a lot of the things I said and how it went, but I do remember a couple comments from the cop. Like I remember at one point he was like, "Everything you say makes me want to beat the shit out of you."
Did he really say that?
Oh, yeah. Verbatim. Yeah, verbatim.
Makes me want to beat the shit.
He did say that, yeah. Woo. And but yeah, he was definitely not happy when he got out of the car.
Oh man.
And I was not happy either, but it was different.
Here's the thing. Adults don't really like teenagers anyways, just naturally, right? And then the cops, you probably have an extra spin to that. They're already adults, and then they don't like teenagers because of the general census of adults not liking teenagers. And then they're a cop, so they like teenagers even less because that's the miscreants. Mm-hmm. You know, they deal with more, issues with kids effing up stuff because they're teenagers.
And a cop down in a city in the panhandle of Florida having to deal with dumbass spring breakers and like summer kids.
So they're already on edge about that.
Yeah. I'm sure they can understand that comment.
Oh man, I bet I need to get one of those cops on the podcast, Matt, because I bet they have some great stories. Like, yeah, this guy was off on top of the building and then he fell off and broke his leg. And took a dump on the sidewalk. I don't know.
I remember one thing, if you're curious of people and stuff that are like job stuff. I remember once me and my buddy were setting up it was a thing where it was like an online thing where he was making this website and me and him, I was helping him, and together like to go find people that wanted to have more of an online presence and stuff for their stuff. I didn't really get the technical side of it, but I do understand more of the how to deal with things. And one of the dudes was a bail bondsman guy, and he was also talking about how he wanted to start a podcast because he was like, people don't understand like the amount of like crazy stories and this and the other, and like that the dude's kind of the center. He was talking about how he's kind of this like center rotating piece of dealing with the police, getting people out of jail, giving them this, that, and the other, having to do bounty hunter stuff, and like he was going over a lot of stuff, and it was really interesting. Like
dude, I would listen to that podcast. I would subscribe. I'd download it in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Because my nephew, he used to be a correctional officer. Just for people wondering, like, you have a nephew? Yeah, like my mom had me very late, so I'm actually closer in age to my nephews and nieces than I am to my own brothers and sisters. Anyways, not important. But yeah, so he had some crazy stories to tell about like having to pepper spray a dude naked, taking a dump on the floor and throwing it at people like a monkey, and like just all kinds of crazy. And I was like, man, yeah. And so you're talking about, I can't imagine like somebody's having the stories they could tell are just probably amazing. I would probably be in tears through most of it.
And Uber drivers.
Yes.
That's another one, yeah.
Uber drivers.
Or they get an Uber, I always like, not always, but routinely ask, like, funny stories of people, and they always
Yeah.
got some kind of stupid.
I'm sure, man.
Just-
Especially like people that live in like up north, like in New York and Chicago
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I bet those stories are just golden.
Without a doubt.
Mr. David Cunningham, hope you've been having fun so far, man, on the
Without a
show.
doubt. Yeah, fantastic. Good combos.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Now I get to the point of the show where I try to have like a little bit more of a deep, intimate relation with the guest, talking to them about things that they struggle with. But what are the things that you wrestle with, bro? What are the demons and monsters under your bed and in your closet, man, that you are, in fact, wrestling with, sir?
Two things I suppose I've already mentioned. One, schizophrenia. Two, substance abuse problems.
Okay.
I also have this is actually quite fresh. It's very, very unfortunate bad luck on my part where I also have a non-functioning thyroid, which it regulates all this stuff in your brain. And I do take medication for it, but it's not like perfect or anything. But one of the things is like, it regulates a million things in your body, but also like the brain stuff and brain chemistry stuff. And makes it to where it can definitely cause bad depression problems. And normally it would not be something that is overly difficult to treat, different like SSRIs, like Lexapro or whatever.
Yeah.
But because of the schizophrenia, can't really do that.
I'm assuming also it goes without saying that schizophrenia is clinically diagnosed.
Yes.
And you take something for that as well.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I've been non-symptomatic for I had a really, really bad psychotic break when I was.
How I'm sorry for cutting you off, but when were you diagnosed with schizophrenia specifically?
18, 3 months left of high school. Got to get ripped out of that. I technically have a homeschool degree now.
What made you, I guess, go to the doctor? What was happening? Like,
just insanely bad psychotic break, paranoid delusions, voices, all the.
Whoa.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, man. It's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's
I already get like it's stuck in my head enough. Like I can imagine like having to deal with that on top of me like overthinking things and having an overactive brain.
Oh, it sucks. Yeah. No, yeah, it's I'll tell you too the nature of what my psychosis. That I had a psychotic episode with that twice. Once was only for like a week or two, a couple years ago, but that first time lasted like about a year. And the thing that was this is a lot of details with it, but the thing that sucked mainly was that my delusion stuff was basically thinking it's kind of complicated to get into all the details of it, but basically that people could read my mind all the time and have conversations with me in my head. And so it becomes and that's all the time 24/7. And it's like, just that cliche thing, like, where would your mind go when that's happening? You know what I mean? And given it's not real, but it feels real.
Yeah.
And so it's like, thinking about the things you don't want people to, no, like,
Sure,
worst things you've done, worst things you've thought, all of like that. And also was very depressed at the time too. So already like having confidence not at the highest. So obviously it's your own brain coming up with it. So it's going to be based on, the depression played a role in making it way worse because I'm already not feeling good about myself. And that sucked. Like I was saying, I got ripped out of high school with 3 months left, go to psych ward and these like mental illness / drug rehab because I was battling drugs at the time too. And I didn't have a homeschool degree now, like I was saying. It was about a year of doing that where I had gone off to that and I went to this one like I was saying, drug / mental illness rehab thing for about a month, and then I came back and clearly a complete total wreck, 1000% dependent on my parents and stuff like that. Because one, I haven't graduated high school at this point. Two, I am a wreck. And about a month or two later after that, I ended up having to go to another psych ward where I was there for a month and a half, and then had to go to this another drug / mental illness rehab place for like 6 months, and that sucked. And after that, though, decently quickly, a couple of months after that, when getting back, things started to go better. It was getting better, and this and the other. And then, with about a year from being back from that, I this is such a stupid law. I got arrested for drug trafficking.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's such bullshit. Did you know if you get caught with a weed grinder that weighs a pound, they can charge you with a pound of weed?
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like the
even though there's not obviously a pound of cannabis in the brownie itself. I did not know that.
And I had it was 8 grams of shrooms, but they were ground up into 4 pieces of chocolate. So they weighed the whole chocolate. And they were like, yeah, you have like, 2 ounces of shrooms. So they charged me with drug trafficking. Yeah, they're it's unreal. And I remember I was like talking to my lawyer, but I was like, is this not like a way to like, he's like, no, it's the law. And it's also an open and shut case. You are like 100% guilty of a Class A felony.
Damn.
So yeah, it sucks. So I had to go back to a bunch of like pre-trial rehab type stuff. I was lucky enough I could get youthful offender because I was 20 at the time still.
Right.
And but I had to go. How long did I spend in rehab? In halfway house. Well, it was a sober living facility, but oh man, about 5 months. The first one came back, and then I was talking about the judge that we're gonna have to go see like a preferred like Bradford shit or something. I was like, fuck, I gotta go back, man. So then just after that, like just a couple months later, I had to go to the Bradford rehab, which I was at for like 5 or 6 months again, and then upon getting back, they're like, yeah, well, the next step is now living in a sober living facility, which and I was there for about half a year also, but what is it with oh, that's not that bad though, in all honesty. That's basically just having a bunch of roommates that you don't really necessarily want to have, and then having to get up in the morning and go to a million that sucks. They did a whole thing where it's like they call it 90 and 90 when you first start out. Go to 90 meetings in 90 days. And it's like but it wasn't that bad overall though, yeah, that, and then at that point I was that was basically, I probably the time that I should have been, going out of high school into college was spent in like all these different places. I probably spent about as much time in those places as people would spend in college too. So that was a very frustrating beginning of adult life. You know what I mean? Kind of I remember I got denied a job as a dishwasher at Cracker Barrel because of the drug trafficking thing.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But what's it called?
It's a part of the reason why you kind of work for yourself is not even necessarily just because that's what you want. Maybe it is, but it's almost kind of by design a little bit because of the things in your life.
Yes, no, it's definitely both. And after that, and this kind of got like a 3-4 year delay and doing all kinds of from that, and then started going to college and stuff, and slowly getting my together and stuff, and structuring life better and blah blah that, and that's because the chronic depression stuff from the thyroid thing, like I was saying, can't really treat it because it's a schizophrenia thing. So I'm pretty much always at least depression is a spectrum where it's like like 1 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It's so pretty much always though at least like around the mild depression. I've had episodes too where it's like 10 out of 10 depression, which is awful. Like, and this is not to discount anyone going through mild depression or this and the other depression. I mean that's awful too and hard to deal with. But like at the same time, I think I would rather than going through I'll put it like this. If I had 2 options of either be that level of depressed for the rest of my life or get like stabbed in the foot every day and have to go like dog, like I wouldn't even think about it. I'm like, yeah, please, stab me in the foot and whatever. Like pretty much anything other than that. And like it's just unreal. Like but it's usually nowhere near that bad. So it's kind of just dealing with it. But it's a huge part of the oh yeah, I was gonna get into that earlier. You're asking like what's the deal with the origin of all the drinking stuff and this and the other, and
some of
that
it
is part of it.
It stems from all of that.
Self-medication. Yeah,
kind of silencing all that white noise in your head. I say that metaphorically speaking.
No, I feel you. Yeah. But yeah, partly that.
Anything else? Do you have any other mediums though that you use to try to like quiet everything down? And
yeah. I have a bunch of little stupid nerdy interests and hobbies and stuff that
those are good.
I'm into. Yeah, I like to read and stuff.
I for people that like deal with like major league addiction issues and substance issues and just general issues. I feel like it's, from what I've seen, right? A lot, like, also, if anybody listens to this, the advice, the opinions I give, they're just that. I'm not a professional whatsoever. If your therapist listens to the show, this is my opinion. It is stuff that I just think of, maybe. It's anecdotal. I don't know.
Yeah, fact check it. Fact check it first.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But I just, from what I've seen through people, is like, when somebody finds like some kind of like positive like obsession, positive addiction, sometimes that can really kind of help you carry you to the other side in a good way, right? Like
1000%.
people they lean towards like religion or God or whatever, like based on your beliefs. I feel like that's like a really good thing. And I'm not trying to promote people to go to church or whatever. People can do whatever they want and believe whatever they want. I've just seen so many times because like people are putting faith in something, and even if somebody believes like, oh, that's like an atheist would be like, oh, it's a fairy tale, it's not real, but it doesn't matter because they believe it's real and they're putting their faith in something that they believe is bigger and higher than them, something that doesn't abide by the rules and tribulations that we have to abide by. And sometimes it can bring people out. I knew a girl that went through the same thing you did. She went through rehab and all this other stuff, and I don't even, she got into like sex, prostitution and stuff. And she went to rehabs and all kinds of stuff. And what got her ultimately out of that was like her finding religion, her finding God or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then there's other things like somebody who's like anorexic, right? She got out of that because she took up bodybuilding, right? And she felt beautiful about herself, and she could eat now and feel good that she looked good and she wasn't too fat or like whatever. You know, and sometimes I feel like putting your faith in something like further than yourself, whether you know it's based on a belief or it's like what you're saying, like hobbies, interests, something, those things can be very therapeutic, especially if they're positive and they help you grow in some facet, physically, mentally, emotionally. But what are your some of your hobbies that you lean on that are therapeutic?
I feel you. It used to be like I was saying before, exercising and stuff a lot. And that is one thing too. They've done a bunch of studies on this. It's such very interesting. Weightlifting in particular is one of the most effective treatments for depression.
I believe that.
And like I was saying earlier, I still do like a lot of push-ups around the house and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
good. It's that really healthy stress on the body.
Yeah. And you know, it gets the chemicals in the brain going. And also another thing too, I'm not 100% sure, but I imagine this is part of it. With how helpful it can be with depression is a self-esteem boost. You know what I mean?
Sure,
you know,
yeah. You feel stronger, you look a little better, and you get like, oh shoot, I got a little muscle. I feel, you know, I did 20 yesterday. This week I'm doing 40. Like, yeah. That makes all the sense in the world. And then sometimes like getting into like art stuff's really great. Playing music, painting, or just something as dumb as like playing video games or watching cartoons, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd rather be obsessed and addicted to that than addicted to things that are gonna. Obviously, somebody can still argue like being addicted to that stuff's not good for you either, but it's the lesser of like evils if you're talking about drug abuse or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Self-harm or sexual addiction or what have you.
Yeah, art. Like for instance, with the let's say the comparing it to self-harm, art and journaling and a bunch of things like that are basically a healthy version of the same thing where you're trying to have an emotional release. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, you get your emotions out upon doing art. You know, the journaling thing where you just chill and sit there and like write something out, where just whatever comes to your head, even if it's like a bunch of nonsense words or it's structured or whatever. You know, the analogy I'll make sometimes is like let's say you get stabbed in the leg, right? The thing's not going to heal until you get it out. Right. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. Like if you have a bunch, you know, the cliche of repressing emotions and stuff, like first thing you got to do is get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like you were saying with art and a number of different things that are good mediums to do that, and healthy ones as opposed to a emotional release such as putting a cigarette set on your arm or something. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Wow.
And
man, you got a lot of stuff, man. You're a very complex case. And I'm not saying that like I don't. Oh yeah, I'm saying just like there's a lot of complexity to you.
I thought that was endearing. Don't worry.
A lot of things to you. You're not by any stretch a simple person with a simple life or a simple outlook or simple problems. Like, and also I gotta like tip my hat to you for first of all, coming on a show and talking to a guy that's a stranger and like opening up about this personal, intimate details with somebody you don't even know. And we're pals or whatever, but I don't, you know, we're not like we haven't established this like major league rapport between each other.
Yes, I imagine the majority of things I've told you are probably new that we have not talked about before.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know like half of that. I mean, I make an assessment of people based on their body language and stuff, and I was like, oh, this guy, I feel like he's definitely everybody's wrestling with something first of all, but I was like, I feel like this guy might have like I don't know, maybe some mental health issues. Potentially, he just or something, maybe depression. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. and then kind of more or less that, and then some. And so, just thanks for sharing all that.
For sure. Yeah, it's something also I absolutely have no shame in, and try to encourage other people as well, because it's like, why would you feel bad someone else is being a judgmental asshole? I mean, like if somebody's being a because you have cancer, you're gonna be like, so you know what I mean? Like, you don't feel bad about that.
They have a problem. You don't have a problem.
Yeah, it's like, I did not make myself want to have these negative things. Two, like, but I would love to not have them. And like, how do you put this? So yeah, why would I feel bad that something sucks that I don't get to choose at all? You know what I mean?
It's much better to get to air things out, right? I try to be. I say this a lot. It's just running into the ground, but like I try to be like a wear my heart on my sleeve type of guy. And like what you see is what you get. There's not like some like extra secretive stuff. I take this mask off, and then there's a whole nother me.
I feel you.
And I feel like it's really good for people to be open about stuff, because when you keep stuff in, especially dark, bad stuff, it's like, to me, my analogy of it is it's like you're drinking poison, or you're drinking like Windex. Like your body's going to make you want to throw up because you're just trying to purge that out of it. But if you don't throw it up, then just this poison is just sitting inside of you, like eating your body away from the inside. So I feel like with the issues we have, the vices, the issues, the problems, the pains, the sufferings, it's good to air that stuff out, man. It really, that's the whole point of like therapy, right? You go to your therapist, you talk about it.
I'm talking about the analogy with like the knife. Like, you need to. It's not going to heal until you get the
right. 100%. Excellent analogy as well. But yeah, and so I think that's really important. So I'd like, seriously, like the fact that you would come and do this, and especially considering like going to your therapist is one thing because they're a professional. They do this for a living. They're a doctor.
It's very confidential.
I'm just some fucking guy you met at a bar. Hey man, what's going on? What's up, bro? Yeah, what are you drinking there? That's me. And for you to like come into an intimate setting into my domain and just share this stuff with me and whoever else is listening, Matt's listening, and other people that will consume this podcast it's really awesome, man. It's really brave and pretty badass. Okay. And I'm not trying to just blow smoke. Like I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it.
I feel you.
But before I close up, man, I asked this as an kind of connected to the whole wrestling concept. But it's about us having this like $1 trillion device that we create, a telephone time machine, a phone that is capable of dialing into the past and into the future and stuff like that. And I usually always ask people, I will let them borrow it, and they can pick this telephone time machine up and call themselves in the past, and call themselves in a point where they were at their lowest or their worst, and give them advice for the future. And then what would they say to them and stuff like that. But for you, I'm going to kind of alternate this a little bit. Me and Matt let you borrow our $1 trillion invention. And instead of you calling the past, you call the future. And you call yourself in the future. And who knows what, future you is going to say. You don't know. This question's easier for you to call yourself in the past because you know what's going on now and you already knew what happened. The future thing, you don't know. But let's say, theoretically, you're calling yourself in the future. And your life is going, like, what is the news that you want to hear from the future? What do you want your future self, your future David, to say to you about your life? Like, where do you hope it is? And what do you hope he says to you? He's like, oh, well, David, great talking to you, buddy. You won't believe what's going on here in the future 10 years from now or whatever. This is what's happening. What does he say to you?
Good question. Think for a moment, but I'll definitely answer.
I guess this is also kind of a segue to a philosophical, like, how would you like your life to be in the future as well?
Yeah. I think the main thing that I would like to hear is having feel like, hey, things are like good, close connections with a number of people in a intimate manner, regardless of like a dating relationship thing or like a whatever thing. Just romance. Be like, just anything along the lines of, hey, your life is I think that's the main thing that I think I would out of, because I can do the things that by myself that I need to do, but I can't really make anybody else do things, and that's the one thing I think that is a very everybody cares about that. They don't really get to control at all. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, you don't really control because of influence maybe, but indirectly, man, I don't fucking know. But yeah, that would be the main thing. I think just be like, hey, that your life is going well in the manner of the people that you surround yourself with and are close and comfortable with, and you know, get to enjoy that type of stuff to the highest degree.
Sweet. I honestly feel like if you keep growing and getting better, man, and trying to like just self improve, that stuff, all that stuff will just come to you, right? Like whatever it is you're talking to your future self about, that'll happen, right? Like we all have a path, and if you keep like just working hard at like trying to be better and get healthier and stuff like that, I feel like it's whatever you want, man, is what you're gonna have. And once again, this is my opinion, right? You can take it with a grain of salt, or you can take it with a truckload of whatever, but that's the way I feel about it. But thanks for sharing, bro.
Absolutely.
Amen and amen. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Boom.
Yeah, dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wrestling Diaries. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a plethora of other platforms that have audio podcasts. Leave us a review. We really appreciate it. It helps us show up in the algorithm. Video content, go to YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content. We also have video on Spotify. Looks really, really great. Today's episode with David was something else. Like it's really crazy when you see people out in public, there's like a technical term, and at some point I'll remember this, I have to write it down on my hand or something, but it's like it's some concept where you see people, you don't know them, you just see them, you're like people watching, and like you're aware that every person you're seeing lives this just incredible network of complexity to their life. Like they are just more than just this guy wearing jeans and a t-shirt, having a beer, eating a hamburger. Like there's so much more. This guy hurts or has cried, has dealt with trauma or loss or triumph, like all kinds of different
people
things.
Don't go around with a sign on their shirt that, says those things.
And so I feel like I challenge people to, like, when you're out there, like, just think about that. Even people that piss you off, people that are being and stuff like that, just think about like what are the complexities of their life? Maybe sometimes some of them are just these mongoloids, but I feel like more often than not, there's some underlying people and the things they do and what they're dealing with. And I feel like that's just something for people to think about. And then also when it comes to like personal health, mental health, physical health and stuff like that, like I feel like the best answer, and I don't know if there is a best answer, but for me personally, it's just trying to seek more information, educate. I'm always learning, I'm always growing. And you should be doing that to the day you die. Like your body and all this stuff stops growing at a certain age, but your mind, your capacity for learning and understanding and growth in that set, emotionally, psychologically, never stops unless you stop it. And if you do, then you're not. I said it, right? Yeah. But anyways, what did you take away from the stuff that David said? Do you deal with anything close or anything that reminisces it? Like what do you deal with and how do you fight with it, right? These are the things that we wrestle with. I hope everybody enjoyed this. David's an awesome guy for coming on and sharing this stuff with a total stranger. It's really great. Really appreciate it. Also, this is our 99th episode, ladies and gentlemen. 99 episodes.
There we go.
I think we might take a mild sabbatical, and then episode 100 is the return of my good friend Giorgio Ferreira. He was episode number 1, and he's coming back, and he's going to talk with us about all the awesome things in his life. Anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed this. Are you becoming, if you don't know what that means, it means are you becoming something more? That's what it means. What do you wrestle with and how can you beat it? One love.